2021, and 2020. And so over those 3 years, we're going to average to see if it's less than $900,000, or the IRS is going to tell us whether it's more or less than. Now, there have been producers where they only made maybe $40,000, $50,000 for 2 years, and then they won a lottery, maybe the third year, and so but their income may still be less than $900,000 average, and so they may still be qualified for our programs. But again, once you go to $900,000 limit average, then in most cases you won't be eligible for our programs. The highly roadable land conservation, weather conservation compliance, you have to be in compliance with those standards for both FSA and NRCS programs. And so mainly that's just saying you won't go out, you won't serve any highly roadable land or any wetlands without talking to NRCS first, get a conservation plan in place if you need one. So this is just another general overview of some of the programs that FSA offers. So again, on our farm program side, that's where all of our disaster programs live. So whether you're a livestock producer, whether you're a crop producer, even if you do some timber production, we have kind of disaster programs that kind of assist with all of those things. We offer risk management tools, and so we have a crop insurance type program that covers those crops that you can't get regular crop insurance for. And so definitely for most of y'all are probably livestock producers, and so if you graze grass, if you produce hay, we have programs that can cover those crops. If any of you are doing organic or transition to organic, we can reimburse some of those costs that producers may have to actually get certified organic. And then we also offer a farm storage facility loan program. That's a bit different from our other loan programs. This one here has a few different requirements there for it, but it's there if you need storage for any commodities that you are producing. So let's just say you are producing hay and you need a hay barn, and then we might be able to assist you with being able to do that through that program. And then I've already covered our farm loans, and so I won't spend any time on those. So just a few reminders to keep in mind here. County committee elections. So again, I mentioned that a few slides ago. Now, generally, how our county committee process goes, usually around June 15th to August 1st is our nomination period. And so every county across the country, they are divided into what FSA calls local administrative areas, or LAAs. These LAAs represent different portions of the county in which you live, and again, there are farmers or ranchers that are elected to represent that LAA and help administer FSA's programs. Every LAA is not up for election each year, and so they are on staggered periods of 3-year terms. And so Ms. Carolyn, when she takes office January 1st of next year, she will be serving a 3-year term that will go through 2027. And you can serve up to 3 consecutive 3-year terms before you have to off year, but then you can come back on the committee after that 1 year off. But we encourage everyone to be engaged in this nomination process. Again, you can't change the system if you're not in the system, and I'll leave it there. So, after the nomination period closes, we do a whole lot of behind the scenes work, and then the ballots go out. So this year, ballots went out earlier this week on November 6th. Once you receive those ballots, if you're in an area that's up for election, we highly encourage you all to complete those ballots, both return to the county office before the established deadline, which is usually the first Monday of the month. Those that are successfully elected, they take office for that 3-year term, January 1st of the following year. The Discrimination Financial Assistance Program. Through first the American Rescue Plan, which was then amended through the Inflation Reduction Act, it's providing $2.2 billion to farm loan applicants or producers who experience discrimination through USDA's farm lending programs. The deadline for this program was extended until January 13th of next year. And so for any producers that have experienced discrimination through the lending programs through FSA, you can apply for this program. USDA has contracted with 3 administrators to do this program. So there's a national administrator, and then there are 2 regional administrators, one for the eastern region and one for the western region. Texas is located in the western region, and so Analytic Acquisitions is the regional administrator. Here in Texas, they have 2 offices. They have an office in Katy, and they have an office in McAllen. They are working with producers to provide technical assistance, and so if producers need assistance with filling out the application for this program, they can do that. They also contract with other organizations across the country and right here in Texas to also provide assistance with filling out those applications and doing outreach to producers to inform them about this program. You can find more information online at 220-7apply.gov. And so the application, it is available there online. You can also receive the application also calling or reaching out as well. Now, I will say it is a 40-page application. All 40 pages of the application may not apply to you, but generally it's designed to have producers kind of tell their story of the discrimination that they experience when trying to receive a loan through USDA. This is not like the Pickford lawsuits from the early 2000s. This is totally separate from that, and even if you receive assistance through those programs, you can still apply for this program here.
So, I have some applications.
Okay, Mr. Lawton does have some applications as well. So if you would like an application before you leave, definitely take one. If you know of someone who may need one, feel free to take one. So again, we're trying to make sure that everybody who could apply for this program knows about it and has the opportunity to get the information that they need to do it. So definitely visit with Mr. Lawton if y'all have any additional questions before you leave.
And I'm one of the technical assistance people. I've been helping farmers fill out the application. So if anyone needs assistance in doing that, they can contact me.
Few upcoming program deadlines. So I think most of y'all here, it sounds like most of y'all are probably livestock producers. The livestock forage disaster program. For most of y'all are hopefully aware of this program, but if not, this program provides financial assistance to those producers that have suffered grazing losses due to drought. This year, last year, been very severe drought years across the state. And so I think most counties in this area are eligible for this program this year. The deadline to apply for it is January 30th of next year. And so you still have about 2.5 months to actually apply for this program. If you are not sure if you're eligible for this program, just call your local FSA office. They can definitely talk to you a little bit more about it. A lot of the offices now probably have a lot of activity in this program for those livestock producers. And so there are a few different things that may be needed. They'll need what your cattle numbers were on the day the county became eligible for the program. They will need acreage reports, which is generally telling us how many acres of whatever type of ranch you have out there. If you lease property that you're running cattle on, we'll be copy those leases. And then if you've never been in before, then we have to just do the whole process, get you set up, and then you sign up for this program. The emergency assistance for livestock, honeybees, and farm-raised fish program. This deadline is also January 30th of next year. If you had additional costs than what you would have in a normal year, if you had to transport in additional feed for your livestock, if you had to move livestock around to other grazed acres more than you normally would, even if you had to transport in water, then we might be able to reimburse some of those costs for producers to actually do that. The non-insured crop disaster assistance program. So this is that crop insurance type of program that we have. And so if you produce hay, if you have grazing acres that you have, then this program is here. So if the county ever has a disaster loss that is great enough, then this program can provide an indemnity payment or financial assistance to help offset whatever some of those costs that you had from losing that much production. Mr. Holman talked about, I didn't touch on this presentation, but he did talk about those underserved audiences through USDA. Those same categories also apply to the FSA's programs as well. With FSA, the form that you would complete, it's a CCC 860. So generally it's an underserved producer certification form. If you fill out that form, then it is also the application for coverage for this non-insured crop disaster assistance program. And so with that, if you certify to have produced any eligible crops on the acre report, the non-make receive coverage for those crops through the NAP program if it's eligible for the program. And so keep that in mind. But again, the deadline to apply for next crop year, which is 2024, which starts January 1st, is December 1st of this year, so in a few weeks. And also the Inflation Reduction Act. There was also some funding in section 22006 of the Inflation Reduction Act that provided financial assistance for distressed borrowers. And so if any of you all may currently have a farm loan through Farm Service Agency and you've had financial difficulties with either making a payment within the last couple of years, or you may missed your next due installment, then there may be assistance available for you all through this program as well. The deadline to reach out or apply for this program is December 31st of this year. And so if any of y'all make a benefit for this program, or if you know of anyone that can utilize any of these programs, share this information with them, have them reach out to the local FSA office, and we'll be more than happy to assist. Ms. Long mentioned receipt of service area. When you go into an FSA office, you should see this on the counter in the service center. It should be in a picture frame, should be there, easy for you to see. Most of our employees have received or will be receiving a name tag similar to this. Their name tags have their name on it, so they can be easily identified. And it also has a tagline that says, "Don't leave without your receipt." And so it serves as a reminder for not only producers, but the office staff as well to issue their receipt to producers when they come in and have the eligible interaction with us that requires their receipt of service. And so our employees issue their receipt of service to you, that should be an automatic thing. If it's not an automatic thing for whatever reason, be sure to ask for their receipt of service before you leave. We are required to issue you their receipt of service. If for any reason you ask for a receipt of service and you don't get one, reach out to me. We'll be sure to make sure that you get their receipt of service. So, last slide here. We send out newsletters each month. I did reference that. So if you don't already receive those, if you do email, you can sign up online at farmers.gov to receive those from your local county office. For those of y'all that may not have email, you can stop by your local FSA office each month. They can print off copies of this newsletter, so it is available for you all to stop by and pick up a copy as well. And so it's there to make sure that you all can kind of know what's going on in your local offices, know what programs are going on, if there are any deadlines coming up, and it includes information from both FSA and NRCS programs, and occasionally from some of our other sister agencies and stakeholders. So, this here is the contact information for the local people in the area. So the acting farm loan manager in the Nacogdoches office, his name is Clinton Ward, and so he'll be the one to reach out to for farm loans. If you are here in Jasper or down in the Livingston area, there are offices in both places. Reagan Robertson, she's our county executive director, so for all those disaster programs that I mentioned, she'll be the one to talk to about those programs, and so definitely reach out to her. If you have any questions at any point in time, you can also reach out to me. You can either email me or call me. Happy to answer any questions that you all may have. I do have some of my cards with me this evening, so I can definitely make sure if you want one, I can definitely make sure that you have that before you leave as well. And so I think I'll stop there and see if anyone has any questions before I turn over to Mr. Hopkins. Yes, sir.
What you were saying about the farm number, is that the EIN number that you get?
No, so it's going to be separate. So the EIN, that's a number from the IRS.
Right.
The farm number, that's going to be a number that's specific to USDA. And so we're going to issue that number through the Farm Service Agency. Sometimes you may get the ag consent number from the state, or if you have timber, you may get a timber ID number. Those are totally separate. And so this farm serial number, that's going to be a number that's going to be issued to you by FSA, by us. And it's going to be what you'll need to do programs through us and through NRCS. And I think in your folders, there's a fact sheet that's on the left side that says first visit, what to bring. It kind of goes through kind of what that information is that you'll need to bring in on that first visit and to get that farm number, and then also establish those eligibility records with us as well. All right, any other questions? All right, well, thank you all so much for your time. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me. Here, my contact information, if you need a card from me before I leave, just let me know. So, Mr. Hodge, I think I will turn it over to you.
All right.
Well, thank you. Certainly glad to be here. Let me just say, first of all, I want to thank all of the veterans. Tomorrow is the official observation day for veterans. Thank you for your service. And just to know that we realize that our freedom is really not free. Thank you for that. I also want to thank Mr. Long for allowing me to be part of the program tonight. He actually introduced me to the Jasper, to this organization, and he introduced me to two people that really we partnered up, and you heard about the program. I can tell you I had over 12 communities that I worked with during that time, running the food box giveaway. And this organization, by far, and I mean by far, was the most efficient that I was engaged with. And I think over the time we did over 200,000 food box giveaways. So you all should clap for yourselves here at CFHPA. What I'm going to talk about is a youth program. Oh, thank you. Yeah, it's about a scholarship program. You know, I always tell folks that you find a community that's not engaging with their youth, it's a dying community. And so, and we recognize now that in higher education that, you know, maybe college sometimes is not for everybody, because if you look at it post-pandemic, it's more about entrepreneurship and certification programs. And so I know at Prairie View, they're trying to get to that, because in my county, where I live, you can't find a plumber, you can't find an electrician, you can't hardly find a welder. And so we're trying to incorporate that in higher education. But USDA came up with a model for these 1890 universities whereby they partnered in a scholarship program. Now, let me just tell you, these scholarships are worth $125,000. That's from start to finish. We're talking about a high school graduate that come into one of those 1890 universities, there are 19 of them, starts out with a fully paid scholarship program. Okay? A little bit about myself. I grew up in a rural community. I was first generation college student. I'm from a family of 12. And I told folks that my county kind of looks like Jasper County because it's Cass County. It looks like Jasper County because we were pasture and timber. And so it was very easy for me to fit in here with Fred and with George Allen. And we had a lady in our community that was from Jasper. Her name was, I found out, I hope the gentleman's still here, but her name was Alice Z. Adams, I believe it's. And she married a county agent there in my own county. So let's get with it. Yes. Okay. Here, this is the youngest person in my family right now. That's Messiah. And I'm doing this because we've been talking about heirs property. And how do you transfer generational wealth, and how do you have succession planning? You try to get them engaged at the very, 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 very beginning. He's about 8 months old right now. And the person in the middle here is the new president of Prairie View University. And she was walking through the stadium in the first game, and she saw him, and she just kind of gravitated toward him. And so I'm hoping that I'll have an easy access. I may not be around, but I have an easy access for him to get educated at Prairie View. There's no other place for him to go. Okay, so this is our USDA. I mean, it's so massive. You've heard all of these programs that these two gentlemen before me talked about. It's a maze. You really have to have someone to hold your hand to get through all of these processes. But there is a headquarters in Washington, D.C. It's called the People Department, and it's supposed to serve everyone. Just remember that. So, okay, well, that's the grand entrance of Prairie View University right now. It is a 4-year institution. It is an 1890, and it does offer agriculture. Okay, and that's what we're going to be talking about here in just a minute. Now, we talked about students. If I could tell you, and I won't go through all of these, many of these students are from rural areas. Great things come from rural areas and small towns. These young ladies and young men received this $120,000, $125,000 scholarship. I'm estimating that, so I guess the best way for me to describe it is well over $100,000. So it pays for everything. It pays for all tuition, fees, books, it pays for room and board, it provides an internship during the summer, and it provides them a job upon graduation. Now that doesn't come without a commitment, because USDA says you have to work 1 year for each year of benefit that you receive. So it's kind of like the military in some instances. They pay for it, but you got to be educated for it. Okay? And I'm giving you these pictures just to show. That was in 2019, right before pandemic. 2020, most of these students came in. They were students that had they did a lot of their schoolwork from home, and so we had to really work with them to get them up to speed. But it's a program that's been around since 1992. And again, it's a partnership arrangement between the 1890. And under this program, the university pays for all of the room and board, and USDA pays for all of the other tuition fees, books, the job in the summer, and housing, even housing when they go. They give them money to get to that job. So if you know anybody, and I saw the hands that went up that talked about how many children you might have or grandchildren you might have. But if you know of anybody in your community, put it on your youth program at your church, or if there's some other civic organization that you're associated with, please pass this information on, because most of the time, it's about not knowing and not being aware of these kinds of programs, okay? So, I need your help in that, and I know Fred, we talked about that a little bit. Here again, this is in 2021. Prairie View led the nation in terms of the number of scholars that we got that year. We have 8. When it started out, they were only doing 2 per university. 2 per university because of the cost that was associated with it. Well, we kind of bumped it up and we went out and recruited. We got some more money. We got some more agencies that were involved that really wanted to diversify the workforce. In 2022, guess what? We got 8 there, and we got 6 there. We did 14 in that year at Prairie View. So it is possible. Some of these are from Louisiana. This young man here is from Louisiana. She's from San Antonio. This one right here is from Dallas, Houston, San Antonio, and Houston. So I can tell you if they apply themselves, they can get this scholarship. 3.0 GPA, 21 on the ACT, and 1080 on the SAT. Okay? These are the universities. There are 19 of them. They're all there. I'm not sure. I think Willie, you're from Auckland, right?
Right.
And I think that Josh is from Auckland.
The original from the dough.
Okay, so you have to be a U.S. citizen, of course. You have to be an entering freshman, or you can also, that's under the high school. But we even have now where college freshmen and college sophomore can even apply for this scholarship. Okay? You can't have a GED, you have to attend one of the 1890 universities, et cetera, et cetera. Okay? And here's the college, because they just came in with the college about 7 or 8 years ago when they had to pick up some freshmen. And the biggest thing that we have, the problem we have, is dispelling the myth that's associated with agriculture. You know, typically we see it in the indentured servitude, but if you go to the African American Museum or the American History Museum in Washington, D.C., you'll find out that agriculture really was the foundation of wealth in this country. Period.
Yeah.
And land ownership
Yeah.
is nothing like it. And if we can, one of the ways I see bridging the gap in succession planning is, even if they don't necessarily work in agriculture, they have a different appreciation. So no matter if they're an engineer, if they're a nurse, if they're a doctor. I worked in Greenville, Texas, which is Hunt County, and one of the most beautiful things that I would always see is doctors and lawyers. One of the first things they wanted to do is to own land. They wanted to get out of the doctor's office and have a place of serenity. Just therapy. They would treat themselves with land ownership. So for us, as a people, we have to understand how we can transform or transfer that wealth. And so if if you're fortunate enough to have someone in your family that's going to major in agriculture, they will definitely have an appreciation for it, I can assure you. Okay? These are some of the majors with agribusiness. We even have computer science. We could not operate in agriculture if we didn't have computer scientists on our team. If we didn't have engineers on our team. If we didn't have agribusiness, because every entity has to be operated as a business, no matter what you do, even your household. needs to be operated as a business.
Right.
And so we need accounting, chemistry, of course we need animal science, pre-vet, plant science, agriculture, education, nutrition, food. If you saw the budget, and you know what? There were a lot of farmers and ranchers in 1977, 78 time frame, when they brought over nutrition from Health and Human Services to USDA, they didn't want that. They did not want it because it appeared that these were giveaway type programs. Although, if you look at commodity programs and look at foreign programs, subsidized, there's a lot of money that's transferred that way also. But 75%, I think Billy said 79% is in nutrition. And now consumers, they want to know where their food comes from. So even in small productions, they want to be able to trace it back. And I'm glad to say that the first African-American Secretary of Agriculture, Mike Espley from Yazoo, Mississippi, put in a place that we'll call the HACCP. And it's called the Hazardous Critical Control Point, where they can actually trace back. And the first day he was on the job, it was a Burger King, I believe, or maybe Jack in the Box that was up in Oregon that he had to go. About 300 or 400 people had gotten sick, and they had to be able to trace that. He said, we're going to put in a system that we can automate. You know, you're not going to be able to prevent it. It's going to happen. Foodborne illness is going to happen, but you want to be able to stop it as quickly as possible, and that was the way you could possibly do it. So we need all of these folks on our team to be able to continue to have the most abundant and the most safe and the most economic food supply in the world. And this program tracks some of the brightest. I got a young man now, the young man I told you from Dallas. He's an engineer, civil engineer. And the dean, they call this, where do you get, this guy is, I mean, he is so smart. I don't know if USDA gonna be able to keep him, because I hear the entrepreneur spirit in him. He's probably gonna own his own engineering company or something like that, because he is just that smart, okay? And the other thing that we're trying to mitigate is, in the offices that these gentlemen talked about, is to put people in there that look like us, because that's where we get the greatest bang for our buck. They understand the plight, and they can help you with it. And I think that's where some of this discrimination is coming from. Not all of it necessarily, but you go to some of these rural offices. I've been in them. It could be kind of a hostile environment. I'm not saying all of them are like that. So we're trying to get students to pursue these kind of careers so they can help their people and help their community. So help us out with that. Just carry the message, and we'll go from there. And then there are some things I can go into about why I work for the federal government, and we have to talk to them about that, because you know, you're not going to get rich working for the federal government, but you can do a lot to help public service and help people where they are. And that's what's important to me. That's what attracted me to it. I was a tuba player, and I was a pretty good tuba player. I was state tuba player, but my ag teacher asked me one evening, I'll give you a real quick story. I graduated, and I didn't know what I was going to do. I was first generation college kid. My dad had a third grade education. My mom finished 12th grade. She was actually breadwinner. And one morning after I graduated, my mom was in cooking. I got up and I told Mom I was going to try to find a job. There was this company out of Houston called Hughes. Well, it was called Highline Construction, but it was a subsidiary of Hughes Tools. And they were building a transmission line from Idabel, Oklahoma to Bivens, Texas. Minimum wage in 1974 was about $2.15 an hour. They were paying $7.50.
Oh, man.
I was able to buy groceries. I was able to buy my sister's dresses. I mean, you know, the whole 9 yards. I made foreman in two weeks. They gave me a company truck. I even hired some of my classmates. But one evening I got home and my ag teacher was sitting in the yard. And that's when he asked me this question. He heard about what I was doing, et cetera, et cetera. And he said, I've got something down in Prairie View. He said, I know you were a tuba player, but how long can you blow it? I said, I don't know. But I got up the next morning, drove back to almost to Idabel, And there was an old man who'd been working with this company for 40 years, just about 40 years. He was the auger man, or he dug the holes for the pole. We were doing 8 structures. I was on the framing crew. And I went to him. He always get there early. I always get there early. And I told him what I was doing, what I was contemplating, and he says, young man, and this was a transmission line. It was a coal line. And the next line that they were going to do was going to be in Little Rock, Arkansas, and there was going to be a hot line. It was going to be a distribution line, which means it was hot. And I didn't think electricity for me was going to be that good. So he told me this. He said, young man, I've been with this company for 40 years. I don't own a home. I don't have a place, So if you got a chance to go to school, you go. So it is those kinds of things that come along in your life that makes you, in terms of agriculture, I was grounded in that. My dad made sure of that. I mean, there was no problem with that. Mom, we truck packed. So I'm just saying it's a passionate thing for you. It turned out a very good career for me. And so we're going to keep rolling with it. This is our class for this year. This is what we have in Prairie View now in the Scholars Program. 26 students. And they cross all disciplines. And the president, the vice president, sent me a note. I sent her a copy of this picture. She says, I'm going to frame this. This is agriculture. This is in agriculture. So with that, I got another little program that I want to talk about. It's another scholarship program that's no SAT, ACT. These are about $10,000 to $15,000. We received about $1.5 million last year for students who want to major in agriculture. They can get it. I mean, every student that applied for this scholarship Prairie View got it this year. Every last one. Okay? So that's Passport to Careers. It's also funded by USDA. This is the gentleman, I don't know, Dr. Parks is the person that manages this. He's an ag economist, and he operates that program. The next one is Ag Discovery. Let's just say in your church, there are students, this is a free program. It's 20 students that we take every year. They get to live on campus for 2 weeks. We take them everywhere, all kind of field trips. It's called Ag Discovery. We're just trying to introduce them to careers in agriculture. So it's a free, every bit of it's free. The meal plan, the housing, and all of the paraphernalia that they need to compete there. So Ag Discovery, just remember that. These are just some of the things that they did. These we take them out to the ranch. We took them out to a ranch not far from here. It was right actually in Liberty. I don't know if you heard of Fred and Daisy Steiner. That's them over there. And of course, we look at it as an opportunity or a window to change lives. Really, is the bottom line of what we do with that. I would say questions and answers there right quick, but that's my information. Billy, I know we're running a little late, so I'm going to cut it a little bit short. But I put some cards over there, and if you picked up any of the flyers, don't pay any attention to the dates. Because USDA is behind this year on Ag Discovery, they're behind on the USDA Scholars Program, and Passport Careers will be coming out a little later. So don't pay the date, this is just an awareness for you. If you have any questions, and congratulations to Ms. Levice. I'm going to already say that she's been neglected because I didn't see no opposing on there. So we look forward to seeing that. Okay? Fred, George, it's been a pleasure, my brothers.
Okay. If you got any questions for Horace, be sure to catch him after the meeting. We have the evaluation, and you guys have hung in here with us, and people left, they did you a favor because they cut down the number of people that can win the door prizes. We have 4 door prizes. There's some gift certificates to loans, home building centers. So fill your evaluations out, turn them in to my wife, Joyce, and she will give you a ticket for the drawing. Okay, so do your evaluation real quick. But while you're doing that, I've got an additional bonus for you. How many of you own a diesel tractor in this room? Okay, do you own a new diesel tractor or is it an old diesel tractor?
Pretty good.
I got
Pretty, you got an old. A new. You got an old. Do you guys know that there is a program in Texas that will pay 80% of the cost for a new diesel tractor? 80% of the cost.
What is that program?
Okay, and you don't know what you don't know. I'm gonna tell you. And the tax that they charge you on gasoline for buying a new car, they have they take that part of that tax and they decommission old diesel equipment in order to cut down on the amount of pollution that goes on. So you have to apply for this program. If you have a diesel tractor, if you have a diesel dump truck, a diesel, any type of off-road vehicle or on-road vehicle that does commercial services, you can apply for this program and get that program. It's not easy. The steps you got to go through, and this is with the Texas Environmental Quality Agency. You have to take pictures of your old tractor. You have to get the serial number. Then you send that in, and then they will give you, if you qualify, if you select it. It's on a competitive basis. First come, first serve. When they announce the program. We had 4 people to apply this year, and all 4 of those people got selected. A friend of mine that knew about the program, he didn't get selected the first time, but his application was available. When the program opened up, he said he was in the first day, and he was number 3. He told me about it on a Friday. He told me about it Friday evening. I sent mine in Monday, and I was number 230 something. But I still got selected. So there's a program, and if you're interested, take one of my cards, and I will email you the information about it. Okay? I had a 35 horsepower tractor that I bought for $1,500, and they gave me $22,000 to buy a new tractor. Can you beat that for the spin? If I didn't know about it, I think he's lying. They don't anybody doing that, but people are doing that. Okay. So if you want to know about it, give me your card to email me, and I will send you information about it. All right. Everybody got their evaluations finished and turned in?
What?
And also, again, the discrimination lawsuit, if you know anyone that went into USDA after January of 2021, before January 2021, before January 2021, if they felt like they were discriminated against, there's an application that you can send in. Compensation.
Turn to me.
No, what does it? You have to fill the application out, tell you why you thought you were discriminated against, and then they have a team of people that are going to review your application and make the decision. Like they're saying, what is the how much money is available for that job? How much money is available? Discrimination 5?
2 million, but the maximum payment is 500,000.
I'd rather go to zero payment.
Up to 500,000 maximum payment per person. Okay. Now, some of the areas that there's a call held every Tuesday for farmers to call in on and to kind of discuss what their situation is. We have 2 attorneys on there to advise you on how to fashion your complaint. Some of the things people are saying, when I got a loan from USDA, FSA, and they put me under a real strict plan where they wanted to monitor every nickel I spent, and they did this and that to them. Well, that was unusual. So that could be a form of discrimination. Right? Everybody got their applications filled out? Let's do our drawing, folks. So I can get you guys home. Next week, a different program. We have rural development is coming. And they're going to talk about housing program for rural areas. They have grants and they have loans for individuals that want to get houses, especially for elderly. If you know of elderly people that are living in houses that need repair for safety reasons, the roof leaking, the floors are maybe need repair, they have grants for that. We're also having the forestry service come in, Texas Forestry Service, talk about forestry programs that you can apply for. Okay, I know this is a big forest area. All right? Okay, let's rock. Here we're going to the last four numbers. 012. 012. I'm sorry. 3012. 3012.
No, you just said 0.
I'm sorry.
I still 3012.
That's you in it. Three. Okay. Come up and get your prize, man.
Okay.
Diane,
Yeah.
I think that's a setup.
Okay.
I'm set up to be blessed.
Our next one is, oh man, this is great over here. Is it the last three numbers? The last four?
Excuse me. Watch this. I'm gonna show you a setup.
I think it's 2 of them. 2.
This is my
30000.
Oh, man.
Just right here.
It ain't no setup. See, Otis, you gonna say it's a setup.
I don't know anybody in here so hard, so I did not set up. Okay, we'll verify. What's that old saying? Trust and verify. The next one is 3009. 3009. Uh-oh.
Glass on it. 30. No, I ain't got that.
Okay, the last one. The last one. Let's take it up real good. With this, got their numbers in their last. That one fell out, jumped out. That's 29997. 2997. 2997.
We got winner.
Hey. All right. There you go, sir. We want to thank everyone for coming out.
First number, somebody got it already.
Oh, yeah, yes.
Somebody already got it.
We'll pass some of you guys bad bedtimes, but hey, have a great night's sleep. Thank you for coming out. Fred, turn it over to you.
Okay. You're not gonna be able to call back again. So,
Yeah, you turned all right today.
go ahead on and get some rest. Be careful, that Joe. It's gonna be a rainy day tomorrow. Hey, y'all, please come back. Next week, they said it's a different ball game, different rule. Be